Well, good morning and welcome to our webinar on the Tourism Regeneration Grant for 2024. My name is Mike Moe, and I'm the Director of Tourism Development and Strategic Partnership for State of Washington Tourism. And today we're going to provide an overview of this grant. It's designed to help your community foster safer, more inclusive, and sustainable visitor experiences across the state and drive overnight visitation to rural and underserved communities. First, I want to give credit to the Washington State Department of Commerce, who awarded SWT with $3.5 million in Destination Planning and Development Grant. This program provides the funding for this grant, and all of our grant programs to come and have happened already this year and next. So a big thank you to Commerce for their confidence in SWT. So here is our agenda today. Hang on one second. I want to make sure that you guys can see it because I haven't shared it yet. There we go. Here's our agenda today. First, I'm going to give an overview of the Tourism Regeneration Grant, and then I'll turn it over to our Destination Development Coordinator, Tamara Rice, who will show you how to apply on our grant management platform. And finally, I'll give you and then we'll be open for questions after that. I'll also give you an overview of our budget document. If you've been through this before, it might be a little repetitive, but if you're new to the process, you certainly want to stay on to learn how to apply. As always, we'll have time to answer questions and maybe a few times throughout the presentation. I'll keep an eye on the chat, and don't forget to use that Q&A button. That's much easier for the questions and answers. As you know, this webinar is being recorded, and so we'll send a link out to all of you in a follow-up email so you can review it at your own leisure. So let's get started with the Tourism Regeneration Grant overview. This grant is designed to foster safer, more inclusive, and sustainable visitor experiences across the state and drive overnight visitation to rural and underserved communities. These projects could include, this is a much broader grant than what we've had before. The other grants have been more specific. This one's broader, includes tourism infrastructure, outdoor rec, festivals and events, training programs for visitor and customer services. We are looking into tourism, the marketing and promotion. We're having a conversation with this Department of Commerce about whether that's okay or not using EDA funds. I'll get more clarification on that, and I will provide that in the follow-up email. Now, when we talk about sustainable in the description, that word does a lot of work. One way to describe sustainability in tourism is how the Global Sustainable Tourism Council defines their vision. It's tourism that fulfills its potential as a vehicle for social, cultural, and economic good while removing and avoiding any negative impacts from its activities in terms of environmental and social impacts. Another way to look at that word is that your project will provide sustained economic benefit beyond the length of the activity we're helping to support. So whatever you're doing is going to provide sustained economic benefit. And really both of those words, both of those definitions work for us. Like we want to see sustainability in both ways. Applicants must be Washington-based businesses, or not, I'm sorry, Washington-based organizations, such as local government, like a city or county, a tribal organization, a chamber, a destination organization, or another nonprofit that supports travel and tourism. Unfortunately, we cannot provide funding for businesses, only those types of organizations. Here are the key program dates. Please note that these dollars, they come from the Department of Commerce, and we can only invoice Commerce after we have all of our contracts in place with our grantees, and then we can only fund the grants once we receive that money from Commerce. So you'll notice there are some approximate dates there, and that's because the money needs to wind through the Commerce machinery and then through us and then out to you. So we'll try to get it to you as soon as possible, but those are the approximate dates. We are granting up to $50,000 with this grant. This is our biggest grant that we've ever done. Matching grant funds are encouraged, but not necessarily required. And we have $780,000 available for this program. The reason why this one's so big is that originally we had $390,000 for this year and next. But then as we've kind of been learning the rules of how this money works, all this money has to be spent out the door, not only through us, but also through you before the end of 2025. And we realized that if we did another one of these big grants, in September, you wouldn't have enough time to spend the money. So we're doing it all now. So this grant will not be available next year. And so this is happening all now. One other thing you should note, our other grants, and this will be coming more in our newsletter. Make sure you're on our newsletter subscriber list. We're going to be pushing up our grants for next year into November and December of this year. So the application periods, many of them will start earlier, again, for the same reason, to help you get that money out before the end of 2025. So just be looking for that information on the newsletter. And again, I'm sure Tamara will put that newsletter link in the chat if she hasn't already. One other thing I want to note: if you apply for this grant, you are not precluded from applying to any of our other grants. We've had a few entities get more than one, so that's something to note. Though it's not necessarily in our grant criteria, we do always love to see collaboration with other stakeholders, including your DMOs, especially your DMOs, chambers, tribes, local government, and land managers. We always want to see collaboration out there. Now, as I've mentioned, this money is federal grant money. So there are more stringent rules on this money than money we've given out in previous years. If you've gone through this process already with us before, you know that there are some tough rules here. First of all, when using federal grant dollars, they are federal grant dollars all the way down from the feds through Commerce, through us, to you until they hit whatever business or subcontractor you use. So the rules don't change. First of all, you and any subcontractor you use will need a UEI number, which you can acquire for free at sam.gov. A link will be provided on your application. It takes a while to go through. It's a pain. I wouldn't dilly-dally. If you don't have one already, get it done. Also, you and whatever contractors you use need a Washington UBI number. Okay, so they need to be able to do business in Washington. We've run into this a few times over the past 6 months or so. So make sure that when you're going through your procurement process, that you are getting a contractor that has a UBI.
Excuse me, Mike.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. I noticed that you have the subcontractor needs a UEI, and we did receive clarification from Department of Commerce that the subcontractor does not need to have the UEI.
Yes,
They do have to have an EIN and the active and the UBI number.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Thank you. And we'll clarify that and make sure that that gets changed in these notes here. And it's these rules are we learn something new every day. We learned stuff this morning, in fact. And so it's just there's a lot of rules and they're also the rules are they seem to be written by not even a lawyer, but just somebody who wants to make sure it's convoluted as possible. So we're always trying, us and Commerce, we're always trying to figure out, what the rules are. Every dollar you spend needs to match a receipt. We'll provide you with a reporting template, but you really need to keep track of every dollar that you spend. Finally, dollars cannot be used for staff salaries. If you're doing some sort of marketing or marketing asset production, you have to hire like a legit production company to do it, not just like your uncle or like your marketing person. You can't do that. So here are the grant criteria. First of all, when you submit your application through our platform, which Tamara will walk you through in a few minutes, the grant scoring committee will score it based on the criteria listed here. And so we're asking you to provide a detailed proposal of the tourism regeneration project you're planning, include a timeline, a budget summary, whatever partners are there, and any other relevant information. We're asking you to provide us with how this grant project will support sustained economic benefit in your community and/or foster safer, more inclusive, or sustainable visitor experiences. We want you to provide a statement of need for this grant project in your destination community. Like, why do you need this money? How does this grant project incorporate safety, security, accessibility, and inclusion? And then what kind of match funding will be available for this project? And then how will you comply with all the reporting requirements? Okay, so I'm going to stop there. I'm going to take a look at this chat here. Are fiscally sponsored organizations allowed to apply? Tamara, do you want to jump on this one? We've gone through this a couple of times.
Yeah, yes. So we learned that they are allowed to apply. It would be the fiscal sponsor that would be applying, submitting the application, and they will have to have the UEI, EIN, and UBI. We also learned that the fiscally sponsored organization would also need to have the UEI, an active registered UEI number as well.
Okay.
That's what we
Hopefully
learned.
that's clear. Sarah, I said you asked if they can a previous approved grantee apply again? Yes, they can. Can you provide examples of projects that would qualify for this grant? Yes, I did that earlier. So we've never done this exact grant, Nicole. However, this is a much broader grant than what we've done before. As I mentioned earlier, it's open to tourism infrastructure, outdoor recreation, festivals, events, training programs for visitor and customer services. It is a fairly broad grant. Christy asks, which grants will be open earlier than 2025? Let me get to my adjustment here. We are opening the Rural Tourism Marketing and Production Grant. And again, you're going to get all of this information in our newsletter. November 1st will be Rural Tourism Marketing and Production. Sports Incentivization will be opening November 15th. And then we'll roll into January. We'll let everybody have holiday break. And then Rural Tourism Research and Data will be January 6th. Arts and Culture, January 15th. And so on. So, but like I said, make sure you keep an eye on our newsletter, and we will be sending that out soon. Is this a reimbursement contract, or can funds be provided up front? So we can provide you with the funds up front, but anytime you spend the money, it has to be with a contractor, subcontractor who's already done the work. I hope that that's clear. More.
Can I add a little bit to that?
Yeah.
So with that, so you would receive the money up front, and then you'll have to have the contractor approved. And then, like Mike said, the contractor will have to provide the services before you can pay them, and you'll receive an invoice for that.
Yeah,
So
just stay on, Tamara.
okay.
And guys, Tamara is like the expert on this. She's the one who's really walking you through all of this stuff, and it's just a wealth of knowledge. So a couple questions about this is not, so Dakota, this is not a reimbursement grant. We're giving you the money up front. You will have the money, but then to pay people, they have to already have done the work. Hopefully that's clear there. Rural communities versus okay. So we are always, as part of our charter, to always be looking out for rural and underserved areas. We don't have a strict definition on that because some state entities do it by county. Well, there are plenty of rural areas in King County, Snohomish County. We've given, and it's really just one of the criteria that we're looking at. And so when we're looking at projects, we've definitely done projects in Seattle before. It just depends on how we look at that, and it's always rural / underserved, so that there's various ways you can look at it. But rural is something we're always looking for, it, but it's not the be all end all to everything. Hopefully that's more clear. Okay, so we'll have more chances to answer questions in a few minutes. I will turn it over to Tamara to walk you through Wise Hive and our how to apply on our grant platform.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Can you see me okay there?
Yes, I can see you.
Great, great. So first of all, I want to tell you where to find the application link. So you'll find it on the State of Washington Tourism Industry website on the grant landing page. And this grant opens up on September 2nd. And so that's when that link will be available. And so I'll go ahead and share my screen with you here. So Mike, do you see the program info page?
I do. Yep.
Great. Okay, so the first page that you'll see in the Wise Hive, when you click on the link for this grant, is it's the program info page. So this has a lot of the information that Mike just went over and includes several additional resources that are very important for you. So it gives you the description and examples of grant projects, the application timeline, stipulations for working with contractors. There's the RCW information, the CFR 200, and OFM reimbursement rates. So you'll want to familiarize yourself with this information. And there's reporting requirements here. We'll have the FAQ for this grant program, the link on this info page, the application portal FAQ, and we'll be including the webinar recording. There's also my contact information here. So next, when you click on apply, you'll go to setting up a new user if you haven't already set up an account with WiseHive. And with this one, the email address that you use here will receive a 6-digit passcode. So once you click create account, you'll be entering that. Now I already have an account set up, so we'll go ahead and go to that. So I've already logged in, and the first thing you'll do is you'll create your organization's profile. So with this, you'll be entering in the organization's legal name, the EIN, your unique entity ID. Now with this is and I know I'm going to be repeating this a lot, but it's been a pain point for people. It's an active registered UEI number. If you just have a UEI number, that's not enough. It has to be active and registered. So if it doesn't have an expiration date, it's just a UEI number. So here's the information. Go to sam.gov. Make sure that you have an active registered UEI number. If you don't have one, get that started right away. It takes, I think, typically 10 days to receive your confirmation on this. And this is a really important thing to have with these grants, and you'll need to upload a confirmation of this, and I'll show you where that is further on into the application. We'll need your UBI number and the organization's mailing address, primary contact information, and also we'd like to have other organization contacts here. But if for some reason you don't have any other contacts to enter in here, just go ahead and put NA in the first and last name fields here, because they are required. Do you have a DMO that you work with? If so, please enter that here too. And then you would create the organization. So I've already got an organization created. Oh, so when you create your organization, you'll want to go to this button here that's right above back. It's create new organization. We're not using this create using GuideStar. So we'll go ahead and go to my profile. And I'm going to save that and continue. And then next we're at the eligibility check. So we have two questions on this. Does your organization reside in Washington? Yes. Because it must reside in Washington to be eligible for this grant. And are you a for-profit business? For-profit businesses are not eligible to apply for this grant. So I'm eligible, and we'll start applying here. So on your application here at the top, if you want to add somebody to help you out with this, you can add collaborators. Remember, you always need to have the lead applicant, a lead applicant on this. So you can't change this without having another applicant in here. If you have them as I just made that more complicated than it needed to go to be. If you have questions with that, you can reach out to me. Project information here. Okay, so you'll be entering your project title, brief description summary of your project, and the anticipated start date of your project or event, the grant amount requested. Now this grant has a maximum of $50,000. Are you open to partial funding? So we'll need to know that. The estimated cost of your project and the project category. We'll also need you to select the regions for your project, and you can select more than one.
Tamara, I want to clarify something.
Yes.
With the project category, I know we have 4 projects. This is open to much more than this, though. So just that, you can use that other. It's okay. So you can just make sure to describe it in a much, in a very short, sentence there. Great.
Yeah, I just saw a glitch that I need to fix here. So thank you, Mike.
Yep.
And then we'll need to know your project location and if there's additional locations here. So next we go to the application questions. The first one here has an 800 word maximum. And this also shows the weight of the review for these questions here, percentages. The other questions here have 400 word maximum. And you'll also be able to find these questions on the FAQ for this grant. So we come to the supporting documents area. With this, like I said, you'll need to have an EIN, and this needs to be a verification letter, your determination letter. We have information here for you to call if for some reason you cannot find your determination letter and you need to request a replacement. They will send you an affirmation letter. So you'll want to get on that very quickly so that you'll have that information. It does take, I believe, at least 3 weeks to get that replacement. Then we will need your confirmation for your UEI active registration. Again, here's the sam.gov link for that. We'll need your UBI confirmation. We'd like you to upload your Washington business license, and you can check to make sure that your business license is active here at this link. We've also included the grant applicant budget template that we'd like you to use for this. And also we'll need you to include a upload of your current signed W-9, signed and dated W-9. We'll need your organization annual budget information and organization annual marketing budget. For this, we don't need line items, we just need rounded numbers. We'll need your legislative district organization location or locations, or if you have several different legislative districts, go ahead and enter them here with a comma in between. You're able to upload optional documents here that might help the review committee. If you do submit a draft quote, make sure that it does not mention any vendor on it. That's really important with these, that you don't mention that in your proposal. You also have the option of uploading letters of recommendation. You can upload up to 3 references and 3 letters of recommendation. And then finally, we're at the application agreement and signature. So this is not a contract. We want to remind you that it's that you understand and agree to the criteria of this Tourism Regeneration Grant Program, and that you have completed it with integrity and accuracy. This is not a final contract. Like I said, successful applicants will receive a contract to sign. And I'm going to go ahead and save and exit this. And really important here, make sure you review these applications, get a second set of eyes on this, a third set of eyes. You want to make sure that you've got all that UEI, UBI, EIN information in there correctly, because once you submit these, you're not able to edit them. I'm going to go ahead and click on submit, but of course it won't allow me to because I've got all these open fields here. But if you have missed something that needs to be corrected, it will have red here, and then you can go back in there and you can update it. Once you do submit it successfully, you will receive a confirmation email, and you'll be able to go into your WiseHive account and review your application. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing here. And let me see, is there anything I've forgotten? I think that's it. Please make sure that you reach out to me if you have any questions. Oh, wait, there is one other thing. I've learned through the application processes that Chrome seems to be the best to use with this WiseHive. So I think that's it for now, Mike. Thank you.
Great job, Tamara. Thank you. So we have several questions here. Some of them you can help chime in. Christy asks, for the second round of funding moved into November, do we still have to present 3 quotes if we want to continue with a current contracted vendor? For example, the videographer she's using on her current marketing production for this fall, if funded again for the same effort, different soldier season. The answer is yes. You need to go out to bid again because these are all, like I said, federal rules, and we have to continue to follow them. Even if you have the same person, you still have to go out to bid. And remember, you have to do that after you get the grant. Don't go to bid and get bids before you get the grant because that is predetermined and not allowable. And so you have to get the letter saying the contract signed. Yes, you have it before you're able to do that. Anything to add there, Tamara?
Nope, I think that covers it. Thank you.
Great. What are examples of supporting documents? Tamara just went through a few of them, like your budget. I'm going to show you the budget template here in a second. Any references, your EI, your proof of all of these EIN, UBI, UEI. And by the way, I wouldn't you can do that. You can start gathering those documents now. If you're planning to get into this, it'll make your life and Tamara's life a lot easier if you have all that documents before we even open the application. Just start gathering that stuff now because sometimes it takes a lot longer than you think. And there's been a lot of stressful nights for folks trying to get things done before the deadline.
Yes, and actually I'd like to add, so if when you submit your application, I'll be able to go in there and review it. And if we have time before the review process, I can send you a revision to, if there's something in the supporting documents that doesn't look right, I can send you a revision request and give you a certain amount of time to upload that. But there's not a lot of time on that. So like Mike said, make sure you've got everything ready and try to get that application in prior to the deadline if you can.
Yep. A couple other questions in the chat. Can matching funds come from other funding sources? Absolutely. How do fiscal sponsored organizations fill out that application? I bet Tamara would like to weigh in on this one.
Yeah, so you'll be filling it out with your information. There's the questions there. Well, you'll have you'll enter your fiscally sponsored organization's information in that. Like we said before, the fiscally sponsored organization does need to have an active registered UEI number and confirmation of that as well.
But isn't the agreement with the organization that is fiscally sponsoring the organization, right?
Yes, the actual award agreement is signed by the fiscal sponsor.
Yes. And so what information goes into the applications? Fiscal sponsored or the sponsored?
The fiscal sponsor.
Right. Okay. So if you are a fiscally sponsored organization, whoever is fiscally sponsoring you, their information needs to go into the application, and the contract will be with them. So hopefully that is clear. Do subcontractors need to be located in the state, or do they just need an active UBI number to work in Washington? They just need an active UBI number, right?
Correct. And then they need to, the awardee needs to confirm that all of the services will go towards the project in Washington and nothing outside of Washington.
Can you apply for multiple potential projects? Desiree, yes, you can. However, I will tell you that there are going to be a lot of applicants for this, and it's unlikely that we will. We have done it in the past in certain grants where we didn't have very many, but our last grant we had something like 90 some applicants for a grant like this. So you can, but just make sure you indicate which one's the primary one, because that's the one that we would most likely look at more. So just keep that in mind. But it is available to you. Can you expand on the difference between tourism infrastructure projects and outdoor recreation projects? Can applicants select more than one project category? Yes. An example, tourism infrastructure project can be just about anything. It can be beautification projects, like with putting flower baskets around your main street. It could be, updating your visitor center to include disabled entry. There's a million things that you could do there. Outdoor recreation, that could be trail restoration, that could be putting in bathrooms at the trailheads, it could be a lot of other things there too. What's the earliest date an event can happen with this grant funding? So the event would have to happen after you can't pay for anything until you have the money that we give you, right? So like I think it's December. The earliest you'd be getting the money would be kind of early to mid-December, I would think. And so I would maybe Christmas stuff, but like it would have to be all of your bids have to go out after you get after the contract signed, Tam, or after they get the money.
After the contract is
Right,
signed, I believe, but I don't believe that we'd be able to do any approvals until after they receive the money.
right. So that's about as early as that could happen. I work at a small business in a rural area. Should I get the local chamber or somebody else involved to apply for the grant? Yes, because you are not eligible for this grant. The project will be a media marketing. Is there a specific grant for that? So there is a specific for a grant for rural or for marketing production to create assets for marketing. That grant is not for paying for the marketing itself. It's for creating assets around marketing. And again, that grant will open in November. But you will definitely need somebody else to apply for that because as a private business, you would not be eligible. Okay, I'm going to get into the budget template. Here we go. This is just a standard, spreadsheet. This is what you'll be submitting in your application. You'll have, just your date, who you are, how many grant dollars you've been allocated or that you're going for, and then you will describe the activity, description in relation to the scope of work. You will not be putting in here specific vendors because you will not have chosen officially your vendor yet until after you get the money. Don't forget that. You'll put in the tourism grant expense. So let's say that the photo shoot's $10,000. So that's how much we're paying from the tourism grant. You yourself, you put your money in whatever you're spending on it. And then if there's in-kind expense, you put it here. So for example, if the whole photo shoot costs 12,296 and 10,000 is coming from us, then you're putting in your own 2,296. That's how you do it. If you have a river after outfitter has a $5,000 trip, but they're giving it to you for 2,500 because they want to promote their product, that would be an in-kind expense. So that is the budget template. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. If we're pursuing the category of responsible travel, can we allocate grant funds for content production and advertising costs needed to create responsible travel awareness campaign? Okay, yes, on the content production, we're going to get back to you on the advertising costs. Commerce, like I said, these rules are kind of convoluted with the feds, and we're getting some clarification on the advertising part. So, like I said, Nick, we will be sending you a follow-up email with the answer to that question. Okay. I think we are through all the questions here. Like I mentioned, we will be sending a follow-up email in the next couple of days. It will include a link to this webinar recording, and it will be answering the advertising questions. Let me share this really quick, just so. Actually, Tamara, we'll just pop our emails into the chat. Just if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Tamara. She is your guide on this journey, and she is very good at what she does. And so feel free to ask more questions, and we are always available for you. All right. Well, thank you so much, and I hope you all have a great day. Good luck with your applications, and we're really excited to see what projects come out of these grants. It's been really fun to see all the great work that's happening around the state.
Mike, it looks like there's one more question in the Q&A.
Oh, another question on the Q&A. Trailer kiosks would be applicable. Yep. Already working with someone to design and develop content, but could we use the grant to cover fabrication? Yes, that'd be fine. As long as you don't have that person already working for you, and like you'd have to go through the procurement process. Okay. Okay, guys, thank you so much. And again, if you have more questions, feel free to reach out to us, and we'll see you later. Have a great day.